The newly formed IWFM Veterans in FM network is a group of IWFM members who want to encourage veterans to transition to FM careers. The group supports service leavers into the FM and built environment sector through membership, training and industry networking events. We spoke to the group's Deputy Chair, Alistair Scott, to find out more. What is the Veterans in FM network?
So, Alistair Scott, I'm the Founding Director for Integrated Estates Management, and in this, guys, I'm here to talk about the IWFM Veterans in FM committee/team. So, as well as various other things veteran orientated, the piece we're here to talk about today is Veterans in FM. So started a committee with Louisa and a couple of the other team about 2 years ago now, and it's all about bringing veterans to the forefront of the facilities management and also making a career of choice for service leavers, and what do they do and where do they go when they leave the military.
Since its launch in the summer of last year, how has the network progressed?
So the network's, early start, lots of great engagement on people wanting to join the committee, be part of the committee from the existing network we had. But actually since then it's gone from strength to strength. How have we seen that evolve? Firstly, our launch event, over 200 people at the infamous RAF Club in London. Some great individuals from industry and some great serving personnel looking to transition. First came across as at that event, and since then we, through our LinkedIn channels and also our networking events, either supporting existing IWFM events or other such committees, we've seen a lot of engagement and support from across the industry and from across the veterans network of the IWFM Veterans in FM committee.
Could you tell us about your experience in the military and your transition into FM?
So, my experience in the military, joined as a boy soldier at 16 years old, did something called the Apprenticeship College, so to become an aviation and aircraft engineer. So, did that for 2 years and then very much hit the field army into a frontline unit, aviation unit. I've kind of got a career of two parts, which not too dissimilar from my FM career as well. So, started as a boy soldier, went all the way up to sergeant, and that was a kind of mid to late 90s. It was all about adventurous training. It was all about it was a really enjoyable time in the military, training, education, all that kind of good stuff, as well as a bit of in and out of Bosnia, for example. And then it all hit a bit kinetic and a bit emphatic when 2001 came along, and then it became a repeated tour of Afghanistan, Iraq. Early on in that time, so 2003, someone in their right mind decided to promote me or recommend me for my commission. So I went from being a sergeant and then started my entire career again and became an officer. So a year at Sandhurst, and then came out, did a bit of time in armour, a bit of time back in specialist infantry, and then my last job back in aviation, thing that I very much love. And then fell into FM. So that transition, it's different for everyone. There is a very good transition program in place. So you're 12 months out, you're very much on that transition journey, you're being supported. There's courses, there's CV writing, there's the ability, which I'd highly recommend to anyone, which is get out there and do those work placements, see what's happening on the ground in whatever sector. It might not be the sector you want to go in, but go and experience it. Mine was very different. I left HMS Ocean from the middle of the Adriatic on the Friday, and on the Monday I hung my uniform up, and then on the Monday I started at Gatwick Airport. But from a transition point of view, I was very lucky. The industry I walked into, yes, it was airports, but straight away my old Sergeant Major was there looking after landside operations. My two up in command was an ex-infantry officer. So straight away I was speaking the same language and understanding the same elements, which when you transpose that to facilities management, there are an awful lot of us out there from a military background in facilities. So the language can translate relatively easily, probably a lot more than most industries. So transition, going back to it, take that opportunity, which I didn't do, really use that experience to try different industries, definitely try a piece in facilities management. And when you get here, and hopefully you will, it's a great place to be because there's so much to do. It emulates what we we're used to anyway in the military, about thinking on our feet, overcoming obstacles and delivering on the day. It is a place that the transition will be smoother than you would initially anticipate or imagine.
What are the biggest barriers service leavers face when looking to enter the FM workforce?
The biggest barriers to the FM workforce is the fact fundamentally no one knows it exists. And what do I mean by that? You don't leave college, you don't leave school, university going, I want to go into FM. Everyone falls into it. And it's exactly the same with the military. You're going through the transition side. You're actually, you're being guided by the CTP, which is a transition partnership, which is out there to help you on that transition. Facilities management isn't on the radar. So if you don't know it exists, that's the first barrier. And that's ultimately why the IWFM Veterans and FM team was set up to really spread that word, both in industry and then behind the wire as well, so people know it's there. So that's the first and probably the biggest barrier. Are we there, and how do you get into or become part of this industry? Once you're in it, there are so many areas you can go into. It could be operations, it could be management, it can be project management, where there's a lot of people leaving the military or about to leave the military. I'm going to be a project manager, I'm going to get that ticket, I'm going to go, but what industry are you going to use it in? Facilities management has that in spades. And then there's soft services, there's hard services, there's client side, there's self-delivery, there's so many facets you can go into at any level, and the industry is crying out for it. The industry is crying out for leadership, and that's what everyone has leaving the military has in spades. Whether you're 3 years in, 25 years in, everyone has been taught leadership on that journey to different levels, and that's what the industry really needs. So barriers are, the only barrier I can foresee is no one knows we're there as an industry. Once we're over that, it's open season.